going on, everyone? Kelly Cavallari here, one half of 7 Era Media, and welcome to today's edition of the Honky Tonk Highway, episode 47, and it's the last time I'll be broadcasting from this location. A little bittersweet, little weird. As you can see, it's pretty empty behind me. We've been packing up all week. We have this, and then I do the broadcast for the CBAs, where I'm not on screen, so it's kind of weird. This is my last show. But only taking a week off. We'll be back starting July 6th. And trust me, guys, you are not going to miss that week. I got some amazing stuff planned for you. Amazing guests, amazing shows. So you're definitely going to check that out. If you haven't yet, please like, follow, subscribe to us on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. We are currently live on both YouTube and Facebook. So that way you can check us out wherever you are. So today's show, I'm going to preface it like I do every other group show. What you're going to hear is the opinion of the guest and myself. It's not the opinion of any event director. It's not the opinion of any country group. It is literally just the group, the people that are on. I thought it would be good with everything that we've talked about on the show. I got together 4 people that do go and attend a lot of different types of events, social competition all over the U.S. and all over the U.K. and Europe. So I wanted to get their opinion on what they look for when choosing an event. That way, maybe it gives the event directors out there a little feedback on, hey, this might get more people. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, from California, I have Jennifer and Jacqueline Rogers. From Washington, Maddie B. And from good old England, Mr. Samuel Lewis. Aren't you in England?
Wales.
I'm in Wales.
You're in Wales?
Wales. Yeah.
Okay, he's in Wales. Apparently, I thought he was in England this entire time. I almost said the UK, but I'm like, no, I know he's in England. I always see you in England when I'm there, so automatically assume you're in England. He is in Wales.
Swap places.
Stephen Hamill. No, it's not Stephen Hamill. So, welcome, guys. Thank you for coming on the show.
Hi, thanks for having us.
So, for those who don't know, all 4 of these people attend lots of events all over the place. Whether it's in the US, the UK, Europe, they go and they attend. So I kind of wanted to get a little bit of a broad spectrum on what you guys look at. So let's start off with, let's go to the sisters. For those who don't know the sisters, you obviously missed out on the 24 hours of Streamline because one of them won the prize for staying up and both of them stayed up all 24 hours. How y'all survived, I do not know. I think I made it through 16 or 17 before I finally went to bed and got up for like 3 hours later. I'm like, nope, gotta go. So,
The quarantine helped. Talking to everyone, it helped keep us awake.
I think all of quarantine's been training us for this 24-hour event. Honestly, though, we wake up for every workshop we want to attend.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So y'all live in California. What is the first thing y'all look for when choosing an event? Because y'all actually probably within the U.S. between you and Maddie being in Washington, usually have pretty long flights.
Yeah. Well, we were introduced to the East Coast side of the events when we went to Hotlanta in 2017 and like just absolutely fell in love with, the JC Dance Productions, everybody that attends. So we try to make it to those as much as possible. But yes, it's about 5.5 hours for us to fly from home to Florida. And there's 2 events in Florida. Flights can get expensive. So we try to spread it out. It also depends on the lineup though. So maybe if we've seen the same people 4 times throughout the year, we might try to spread it out that way. But our rule is if we can drive to the event, we're going to attend it probably like no matter what. Because between the 2 of us, driving anywhere and splitting gas is so much cheaper for us. But we try to find good airfare as much as possible. But
she does all the work.
Yeah,
I'm just like,
I
when are we
basically do all the
going?
work and book it. Okay, get these days off. You're coming.
She's like, here, this is what we're doing.
I'm the bigger sister, so I'm definitely the bossy one. Right.
I guess so, yeah.
All right. Maddie, I know you do a lot of both competition-wise and social. So how do you break that up?
Oh, It's a lot of talking to my husband. Like, so I need to add more dance conventions because I actually feel like, without sounding crude, I went like an ass backwards way. I started competing before I even knew there was social events. Like I had no idea. I thought you line danced, and then someone decided to make that into a competition, and they needed to be able to judge it, so they added ballroom. And then I saw John Robinson when the UCWC Worlds came to San Francisco, and Melissa Culbertson was asking how I showed up, and there was this whole story about how I Googled them, like that's how I showed up. Please don't ask why I Googled it, but I did. And he did Shady, and my mouth just kind of stopped. And Melissa was like, Maddie, do you know there's like a whole social thing? Like people just don't go to the bar. And my mind just blew. And actually, February would have only been a year that I'm going to social events. I compete. Yeah. So I'm sorry, April. April would have been a year that it was social events. I really haven't gone to that many, though they keep adding to the list. But mine is like a big balance because I have to choose when I'm going to go to which ones because I have to go to 3 to compete. And then I was like, why wouldn't I not compete in World Dance Masters? And let me tell you, if the WCDF wasn't back to back with UC, I'd probably be doing that too. Like I would never be home and I'd be paying for it the whole time. Like I might as well just own a motorhome because they'd be like, what do you do? Well, I just travel everywhere and spend all my money dancing. So
that's exactly what I say. And they're like, what? To line dance? Yes.
Yeah, I have actually been on vacation, like on a holiday somewhere that isn't a line dance event for probably 2 years, 3 years probably.
Wow. Now, Sam, I know you. I looking for the pictures to put up for the picture I was posted today. I went back through Facebook just to make it quick, for I wouldn't have to go through all of Kelly's pictures. And I started scrolling. I'm like, so you've been doing this for a while, and I know you've been doing this for a while. So how do you choose now?
I think I was thinking about this because I obviously knew this was one of the questions you were going to ask us. I think for me now is the location rather than instructors, because now I've started venturing over to come to the States and stuff like that. Obviously, we were meant to be in Palm Springs at the moment.
We were all supposed to be in California with Mark and Eve.
And I'm currently sat in my living room, which is not the same, even though it's 31 degrees outside this afternoon. But yeah, for me, it's more location and venue rather than the lineup. Obviously, the lineup plays a part into it, but yeah, it's I want to come and see some more of America and travel a little bit and do that kind of stuff. So I think that for me would be the main thing currently.
I love it. Jonathan Sack just put in here the old how everyone goes through. I'm not going to do so many events next year. Then you realize you've already booked 30. Yeah, Jonathan, you would have been a good one because you don't ever stay home.
I really go by what people tell me. Like I haven't been in long enough to care. The first one I went to was a Northwest Line Dance Blast. I had no idea who was going to be there. And let me tell you who's there now that I know. Daniel, Fred, Roy Verdonk, John Robinson. Like, I had no idea. People were like, Maddie, it's awesome. We get to be in a hotel and we get to line dance all day. And we get to do nothing but workshops. And then we dance. And I was like, cool.
Yeah.
And then when I got there, someone said, you have to go to Windy City, Maddie. It's the best. And like a little sheep, I was like, okay, I'll buy a ticket to Chicago.
And then Maddie came to Fort Wayne.
And then I came to Fort and now I'm like, and World Dance Masters and Crystal Boot. And oh yeah, the marathon in Palm Springs. So now pretty much if someone's like, Maddie, you should go to this one, I'm like, oh, okay.
And Kelly introduced her to drinking beer at 11 a.m. during competition.
Yes, thank you for that. I appreciate that one. That was much better.
It made the day go by very nice. Very nice.
Wait, there's rules for drinking?
So we started locally because we have an amazing class that's only, 15 minutes away from our home, and we get to dance with Luann Schemmel, right. And all of her dancers have been doing this for almost as long as we've been alive. And we went to Palm Springs winter break with Michael and Michelle. It was the last year before they took over that event.
Right.
And we met Joe Thompson and Amy Glass. She wasn't even Bailey yet. And we had no idea what these events were, and we were blown away. And then we went to Spring Fling, which was JP's last year of doing it before he moved over to North Carolina, and we
in
were
our neck of the woods.
Yes, and then from there, we decided to do Hotlanta because Jono and Jason were going to be competing, and we're like, this could be the one time that the four of us can attend together because of Jason's crazy touring schedule.
Yeah.
And that ended up being our introduction to the East Coast side, and then from there we were just like absolutely hooked. And if I have the money, I'm going to use it towards a dance event. And it really isn't about location quite yet because I literally stay in the hotel the whole time basically, and I take as many workshops as possible. And Jen, you might sleep a little more, but I'll try to attend as much.
I do sleep sometimes.
So location isn't quite the key factor yet. It's more about the lineup and what late night might look like, and based off of who can stay up with us, pretty much.
Yeah, but I say, Jen, you're also part of the crazy crew that stayed up the entire evening at Windy City, where JP DJ'd all night long. So
JP and Louis swapped like 2 times on me that night.
I think I made it to
We
4.
really went back to Dallas and then left to fly back to LA during that same time before we even finished in the ballroom that same morning because we went so long.
that is crazy.
Yeah, because they passed me as I was headed to Fred's Down for Your Lovin'. And they were like, we're going to bed. And I was like, what? And then they were in the class. I was like, what is wrong? I need you to
left
sleep.
to go to the class. I got stuck having to help lead the early crowd because there's like 6 people that wanted to dance. So at 8 a.m. I'm dancing Sound of Silence with 4 people because Louis is like, oh yeah, she knows. And just follow her. I'm like, I have to go like shower or something. So
I took 3 more teaches.
I ran
that
upstairs,
morning.
changed, and went back down to the lessons. And that was that. Then it was Dance the Floor Away.
Okay, so
Crazy. Crazy.
weird question I'm going to ask because I know this gets asked. This gets brought up a lot, and I know Maddie, you probably don't deal with it as much because you don't pay attention to you're just now coming because you want to go places. But event directors release the schedule 2 weeks. Do y'all actually pay attention to that?
Absolutely.
She prints them out.
I print them out like
Wait, show them their schedule.
I print them out. This is my
Our
printed out
binder.
binder of online teaches of every online
I
event
print them out
I've
too.
attended.
You're like, I'm done.
I print them out too, but that's because I don't know any. So I'm always, everyone tells me, you have to know this one, you have to know this one. And so I'll look at the schedule, and if one that someone told me to learn is on that schedule, I'm not learning it. I'll just learn it there.
That's my big question. Is it really, does it really make or break whether or not you come to the event though if you can't see the schedule before you get there?
No.
No, it doesn't bother me, but I like to be able to have a little bit of
You
research.
like to be prepared.
Yes. I highlight the ones I want to take, and if there's like multiple teaches of them, like the Vegas event has, early teaches and then the later in the week teaches. I try to like juggle them so I can attend as many as possible. I'm a little obsessed, maybe.
I won't attend all of them. Like I'm very social. Like I like my sleep.
Everything.
When you go to an American event, obviously you get demos the night before as well.
Right.
We don't get that in the UK very much at all. Like World Dance Masters is probably the only event that I've seen demos at, and I know obviously Big Dave does it at Eurodance as well. But other than that, you don't get it.
Right, and that was like Darren just say, "Yay for no schedules, LOL," because this came up with the conversation I had with Fred and Darren and JP on the show of over in the UK and in Europe they don't release it. You don't know usually, except for like Sam says, World Dance Masters is about the only one where you're going to go into the event knowing what might be taught. You probably won't. They won't even tell you an hour before usually at some of these events because, to be honest, the choreographers don't know.
Yeah.
So.
And especially when there's like one choreographer there for the weekend,
right?
You're going to, they might teach 5 workshops that day, and so who cares what they get? Yeah, who cares what's going to be taught because they're going to teach you the same things whether you come now. You're going to be there all day.
Gary didn't have demos,
right? No.
Jason just says, "Don't get Jacqueline started on her schedule. She's insane, and she drags me with her."
He uses every minute of it. Come on.
So we usually all room together. And Jacqueline and Jason have their alarms going off at God knows what time. And I'm like trying to sleep because, we stayed up all night. So they both wake me up and they're like, Jen, do you want to go to class? And I just look at them like, get out, go away.
We always give her one extra chance before we leave the room to say, hey, we're attending, Guillaume's teeth at 9 a.m. Do you want to come? Here's your chance. And if she says no, fine, let her sleep.
And then
but at least I don't get blamed for leaving her out.
Right. Like Madison just said the same in Australia. There's no schedule in Australia.
Desert Dance that we attend in Arizona doesn't have a schedule till you get there. And then the way they do it, they have the 2 demos right before they're about to do the teach. And they have people line up with the choreographer that they want to take. Mm-hmm. And then they divide the room depending on who should get the bigger room versus the smaller room after you've seen it. Literally in that 1 minute.
Oh, I've seen that. What event is that at? I've seen videos of that.
Desert Dance.
Desert Dance does it, yeah.
Yeah, videos of that.
So that's an interesting way to think of it too. And then you just go to whatever room you follow your choreographer to whatever room.
Mm-hmm.
See, I love it, and I'm not sure if y'all, because I don't think none of y'all have been to Myrtle Beach yet. Steve Scarborough is going into spring break. So the way it used to be, we just recently switched to where it's 2 rooms. Steve used to have 1 room. When you got there, you got a packet with a list of like 30 dances. You weren't given a time. You weren't given who was teaching which one, and you weren't given what day they're teaching on. Everything was in 1 room. If Junior Willis decided to get up and teach the first class, he got up and taught the first class. If he got done in 30 minutes and John wanted to teach next, he got up. But you didn't know which one they were going to teach until the class started.
Until it happened.
Right. It was awesome. There was no demos. You literally got up. Everyone got up and took it together. But which is the whole.
It's nice to have a little bit of spontaneity every now and then, isn't it? I think
it is. It's great because it also gives the instructors a chance. If John Robinson can't make it up at 9 o'clock in the morning, which is very, very, very possible that John's not getting up at 9 a.m. and he doesn't want to teach the first class, he doesn't have to. So.
Well, last summer we attended Gary O'Reilly's Explore and Dance 2, his tour of Berlin. And then, the last part of the week was the dance event. And I remember in the chat before the actual trip, everybody's asking for a schedule. And Gary and Debbie Hanlon are like, there's no schedule. We're not releasing it. And we were like, what? This is crazy. So then we get there and they only would tell you the name of the dance. And then did they demo right before they taught it?
No demo.
No demos. So Joey was first up and we just learned this dance and didn't even know the music until, he played it the first time when we danced it with him. And it was an interesting way to go about it. What?
Welcome to Europe, because that's how it is.
Yeah, that's what Gary said. He's like, no, none of this like spoon feeding you. This is just gonna happen, and we're like, okay, but we can't be late.
If you're choosing the events based off of the choreographer lineup, at some point you develop your favorites. You trust them. You know that what they're putting out is stuff you're gonna enjoy because their style fits you. So I'm not really worried about not being able to take a bunch of teaches at these events because there's usually plenty of variety, and they're people that we love their style. We've fallen in love with dancing these things. So we put trust in them, and they always give us amazing results.
Agreed.
Now, going based on like if you do it off the choreography lineup, do you look at like just 1 or 2 of the choreographers on it, or do you look across the whole board? Because obviously, like some events have 8 or 9, and then you have events like the marathon that has 26.
I look at every single workshop that's on the schedule. I am a little crazy about this. Jason and Jen are right. But, I mean, for the most part, I'm going to attend intermediate and advanced dances at these workshops because those are the ones I'm going to get a chance to actually dance back at class. My class doesn't do, beginner, improver, any of that kind of stuff. So if I have an extra hour to learn something improver that I like, then that's just for mine and Jen's own benefit, but it's not something that I necessarily get to dance a lot. So I usually go for that intermediate advanced kind of stuff. And, when I get the chance to try to drop in on other stuff. But usually I take somewhere between 15 to 18 workshops in a weekend.
Crazy.
Crazy. Now, Maddie, how is it that I know because you came from the competition side and you are now that, and I know we've talked about this, how you love learning about the history about the competition because the competition events used to be a lot more social oriented as well. Like Peach State used to have like the 6 or 7 or 8 instructors at it and have a full social workshop to go along with the competition side. How is it trying to get more? Because I know I know you want it all. And I love it. I love it because you tune in, you ask the great questions, you want to soak up so much, and I love every bit of it. I'm sure Tim wants to kill you sometimes because of your questions.
Oh, you don't even want to know. You don't even. Poor Tim. Every time I'm like, hi, so question. It's I want more because I really do love line. I want to say I'm an anomaly in UCWDC. There are very few of us that just do line and love line. Most people are like, why don't you pro-am? Fool, because I don't want to touch anyone else. Like if I ask you to dance, I want you to dance next to me. I don't want you touching me. And it's not that I'm not a toucher because I give hugs all the time. But I just, dancing, like I love line dance. I love entertaining people. I love being able to mess up and know it's only me and goofing off and having a good time. And so UC is very difficult. It wasn't in the beginning because I didn't know social line conventions existed. I just thought, you must learn how to do this waltz. What a stupid dance. Until Amy Bailey came out with one. Thank you, Amy, for giving me a waltz I like. And then all of a sudden it was like, whoa, like no, like I don't have to put on makeup, which is a hot mess, and like glitter, and I don't have to like suck myself into a costume. Not that I don't love it, but not all the time. So when I saw these, I was like, so why aren't, and then I realized who John Robinson really was, who #love him. And I was like, why don't we have that at UC? Like if I go to UC, there is no line dance classes. It is I compete and then that's it. I get to hope that I know a dance on the floor, which is hard because I have to minimize my time between learning. I don't just get to learn my competition dance. I have to learn how to do it correctly. Do I have a heel drive and is my hips correct and where are my arms at? So social, I have to give a good balance, which when I go to an event, like a social event, I really, no offense to anyone, I don't care who the choreographers are. I just don't. I love line dancing, period. If it was people I never knew, are you going to teach me how to dance? Can we all dance it together? That is what I think is awesome. Like, I just don't, if someone's like, he's going to be there, she's going to be there. And I'm like, great. Like, I can watch them on YouTube too. Not that I don't love them. There are choreographers I love, but what I love about them is their ability to talk to people, their ability to get on the floor and have fun. I go like, who's going where? Can we get on the floor together and have a good time? If I don't know every dance, can we sit on the side and communicate? Are you going to not judge me if I want to sleep in and have a latte before I get on the floor? Like that's, I mean, I guess that's just different for me. It's not that I don't appreciate, like I had no idea. Apparently one of my favorite choreographers is Darren Bailey. The only reason I know that is because every time I see a dance that I'm like, ooh, I want to learn that one. Someone's like, that's Darren's. Okay, so I guess I'm a fan of it. I don't know.
That one guy.
that one guy that married Amy.
Yeah, that one guy.
I feel really, but I love line dancing, period. So I'm always trying to grow it, right? Anyone you talk to, I'm like, why don't you compete? Do you want to wear glitter with me? Like, oh my God, come hang out with me. And then anyone that's competing, I'm like, oh my God, do you know Lonely Drum? Like, you should totally learn this dance. It's super fun. Like,
This is how we met on the
I'm
stage.
a walking commercial, right? I'm a walking bad 80s commercial. Have you thought of line dancing? You should try it.
That's exactly how we met at Chicago, sitting on the stage.
But a big part of it is the socializing with the instructors and choreographers, because they become more than just like that person on the stage teaching. You get to develop relationships. And I think that's a big part of the events, because yes, I could watch YouTube videos of them and try to teach myself, or I could only attend my one class a week. But, you know, the bigger dance community is like that connection we have. And like over this quarantine time, you know, we keep saying it, we're apart, but we feel closer than ever because we have this constant communication with each other. Mm-hmm. And I hope to think that, you know, some of the choreographers, instructors out there that we've befriended feel like we are friends and, you know, could count on us when it matters for real things in life, not just dancing. And I think that's a huge part of why we travel.
I was chatting to Maddie over in Australia this week, and, you know, like through line dance, like who would have known, like I've spoken to somebody quite openly about, you know, how I've been feeling this last couple of weeks, you know, when Maddie was there, you know, and we were both like, if you need anybody, we're here. You know, it is amazing the connections you develop and the friendships, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, trust me, I know it, because Kelly is really getting a little stir crazy with me being in the house, because with me doing all this stuff for Streamline, I talk to Daniel and JP and Jose a lot, but me and Daniel will literally play video games now until 11 o'clock at night my time, which is 4 a.m. in the UK. So literally, yes, we will literally play Fortnite until all hours of the night. I know. It's hysterical, because it's nothing. And the sad thing is, I never played Fortnite. I got into it playing with my kid. And when I started talking to the boys, they go, "Oh, you play video games?" I go, "Well, yeah." And they go, and they got me hooked. And Kelly's really like, "You really need to get out of the house."
Let's go sit on the lawn. That's out.
No, because then it's hot. At least I have the air conditioning in here.
Yeah, humidity.
Oh yeah.
No,
I can't live there. My hair would
About
die.
to say, you of all people should know that. Florida humidity, no. Daniel
We've
goes,
only been to Florida once, and it was in December.
Daniel turns in right as I started talking about him in Fortnite. He goes, I tuned in at the right moment.
All that.
So, Sam, just a couple people asked a couple of things. Go, how many events have you already booked for next year? Because we know you try to come over a couple times a year.
So Palm Springs is already booked and paid for, because obviously I've rolled my registration next year. That's it so far for American events, because if Chicago goes ahead, obviously I'll be traveling over for that this year. Whether I can travel or not right. Who knows? But if that doesn't go ahead, then obviously I'll roll that over until next year as well. I do want to do marathon. There's a couple of events that are on my bucket list radar kind of thing to get done. But obviously, you know, I work full time, so to get over and do an event it's difficult. Right. It's time off work. It's obviously money. You know, it's because a flight over isn't the cheapest. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so at the moment, the only thing I've got booked in the States is Palm Springs, but it all depends on what happens now in the next few months. But World Dance Masters, obviously, that's rolled over till next year as well. Crystal Boot Award was already booked and halfway paid for. You know, so there's lots of stuff going on. But yeah,
Julie said he is doing marathon. Trust me. Apparently, Miss Dixon has said you don't have no choice.
Yeah, I've just seen Jonathan's Vegas as well. Vegas is on my to-do list, but I'm not sure whether I'm going to get there next year. I'm hoping for the year after, because I really want to go and see the Grand Canyon as well, which I've never been to see.
Vegas is absolutely crazy. Maddie, you need to come to that one. That's not far for you either.
Every year, it's like a $99 flight, and I haven't been yet.
Come on, you.
We were supposed to do WDM.
Yes, y'all were supposed to come over with all of us this year. I forgot that.
Cargo.
Uh-oh, I think we lost them. They froze.
Sam was the one that let me know. I was like, oh, I'm going to compete in World Dance Masters too. And he was like, okay, so you need to get an Airbnb. And I was like, well, I'll just order the hotel. And Sam was like, okay, so clear. Like, he knew immediately I was a newbie. He was like, let me talk to you.
I'm going to try something here. It looks like the sisters have been frozen. So let's try to do this here. Let's add her back in and see if she picks up. Sorry, guys, the screen's going to get a little weird for a minute. I dropped the sisters out of the call, and let's get them back in. Now it's just you get to see our three beautiful faces. Now, I did tell Maddie this already. I was very shocked that you didn't wear your Liverpool jersey. You are wearing the red at least. You do have a nice game. You are a Liverpool fan.
I am. Yes, I am.
Yep, I think we got him back. Yes, we got him back.
Now it's on my phone and I have to hold it. My fear.
Well, I know you said that you were hoping the computer didn't go out. I'm like, I think we lost the sisters.
I told you.
I'm like, here, yep, you did warn us. You did warn us that there was a chance that the computer was gonna crap out. So we got it good. We're back. It's all totally fine.
So if my arms start drooping, you guys know why? Because I'm holding my phone.
just make your sister hold it. It's all good.
She won't.
like Jason just said, though, bring fans with you to WDM. The skylights being open are pretty, but it makes it hot.
With wall in that room.
At least they have the bar inside. You don't have to walk far for the bar.
The bar?
Yes.
I don't go to the bar.
So inside all three ballrooms is a bar. So you don't have to leave the ballroom to get a drink.
Good to know.
The best thing ever. And they start serving you at 10:30 in the morning.
I can't wait to compete. Their technical handbook is awesome.
Yes, we got.
It was pretty good with,
Yeah,
I think pretty good. Yeah.
I will tell you, Maddie, being there live, watching that competition, you want to talk about levels of insanity? OMG.
I was up every morning at 1:00 with my coffee. Like, I set my alarm and told my husband, sorry, 12:30, there's going to be an alarm. And I watched every day of World Dance Masters from my computer with my coffee.
I watched it a couple years before and we watched the shows, but being there live, the energy in that room, it was breathtaking. Absolutely breathtaking. Jason, the bar is great, but the stairs, yes, there are a lot of stairs. That is the one thing I think Connor, Sam, and Nicola all agreed on when I asked them what's the one thing they would change about the Winter Gardens. They was like, we want to attach a hotel and get rid of the stairs. Yeah, Jonathan said you should be at Eurodance if you think WDM is hot. I went to the hotel for Eurodance because the week before Masters, because Johnny Two-Step had an event there. Not as many people, but the place still got hot, so I know. Julie Dixon wants to know, all of you guys, since y'all go to a lot of events, what do you like more, the handbag dance or going camping? As they all laugh.
Camping, for sure.
I'll bring the Jaeger. But the handbag dance is fun.
What's the one where we all sit like V style in a row? What is that called?
Oops upside your head.
Oops upside your head.
Yeah. That one literally broke me at Windy City 2 years ago. And I thought we had fun until we met all of the people from the UK and I'm like, okay,
y'all
they know how to party. We really can't wait to attend something over there.
Sam, you were there last
100%.
You were there last year at WDM when Simon did Simon Says on Sunday night, right?
I was, yeah.
Remember when we thought we were going to go through the floor?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Second floor, Spanish Hall. Sunday night, you have all the competitors partying with all of the social dancers. So everybody from the event is in one room.
Yeah, it's wild.
And Simon got everybody in the ball, everybody at the event in one big circle and started doing Simon Says. I'm in the middle with the camera. I thought for sure we were going through. Me and Jamie Whaley were like, this is going to not end well. We honestly thought it was going through the floor.
Can't see the screen.
He's a bit of a wild one, is our Simon, isn't he?
Just a wee bit. So Maddie, when are you? What's events next on your radar? Once everything all settles down, what was your plan supposed to be like to go to an event the rest of the year?
I was supposed to go to Arizona, but they've exploded. And I really can't afford to get sick. I work at the Employment Security Department for my state, so that's going to be a negative. And then I plan to go to Paradise, Ronnie Denabeta's.
Okay.
And I plan to go to Vegas. And then Sam and I were devastated we couldn't go to Palm Springs, and he said he was going to go to Windy City, so I signed up for that one. So hopefully that will go. And as of right now, I have a paid for 2021. So I feel like that's my excuse, is I'll already have all the, because I just moved everything. Anything that expired, I was like, we'll just move it to next year. So that when next year comes, I'll just be like, oh, I can add all of these because all of them are paid for.
Yeah.
I do that, as a newbie, people telling me how fun the event was what got me there. I can tell you that right now. For anyone that talks, I had never been to a class, ever. The first social line dance I ever learned was Sound of Silence.
That's what you started with?
Yeah, that's what someone was like, hey, you want to try out this cool dance? Thanks. Okay. Had no idea arms were a thing, right? Totally new. But what got me going was people said, it's so much fun. We get to all be together. And it was groups of women that I had been around. Like we were on a team together to perform. That's why we learned that one. So I have to say I really like, it's my second thing to see who's going to be there, because the choreographers, I'm always excited to see who's going to be there. But I wouldn't say, it really is like if Sam said I'm going and I knew Seven Arrow was going to be there, like why would I not? And I went to Fort Wayne because it's Jamie's. And there was so many things to do. There was such a variety. So, that's just me. Some people are like, I will not go without knowing the choreographers. Well, so I'll ask people, are you going? And they're like, oh, Niels isn't going to be there, so I'm not going to go. Okay.
Well, thankfully, there's not many events left in the States that we don't attend. There's only a handful now. It's been kind of nice. We've been very blessed and very, very, very privileged in getting to be at lots of events now, working them. So there's only a few that we don't get to, thankfully. And trust me, I'm always open up for going for more. Trust me. I would be at an event almost every weekend if I could. Sometimes Kelly, I drive it nuts. Yeah. I remember last year we got back from Worlds and we were in England for 2 weeks. I literally came home. I think we were home for 3 days. I did an event. And then we went on the road for 23 to do a swing event in Jacksonville, the experience in Nashville with everybody, and then we did Hotlanta and then a swing event and then Nashville. And then we came home for a week and then we literally went to Orlando to see Simon again for the workshop to get him to Guyton's, and then came home for a couple days and went to Chicago. I think I was home for a total of like 12 days out of like 60.
So at the end of 2018, we went a little crazy and we did Windy City in October. We did Vegas in November. We went to Classic for the first time in December. We went to Desert Dance in Arizona in January. And then because everybody had talked us into it, we decided to do Big Bang like 3 weeks later. And people literally didn't know we were doing Big Bang. And they're like, wait, what are you doing here? We're like, you guys talked us into it. I got the days off of work. I was able to find a good flight. Let's just do this. So we went to 5 different states in 5 months. I mean, and none of them were the state we live in, by the way.
And Kelly just remind me, in the middle of all that, I forgot. We kind of went to Vegas for 10 days. Yes, Tim, unfortunately, South Bay is one of the events yet that I don't attend. But hey, I never say never. You never know. Yeah, I never say never. Maddie, Jason asked this one for you. Where and how did you start dancing? Was it at a bar or a club, randomly at an event?
So my background is actually Tahitian and Polynesian dancing. That's what I grew up doing, right? You wouldn't think it right away that I
have the same look. Like, wait, what?
Everyone was like, whoa, that goofy chick on the floor. And then I was in the military for 8 years. So I did the stereotypical bar dances, right? I was tearing up some Watermelon Crawl. You're welcome, Joey. And Let Copperhead Road come on. And I started it just because I was a university cheer coach, and real quick when they stunt, they can get frustrated, and I didn't want to tear them down. So I would just say, let's do a line dance real fast. And I taught them, what is it? Like a 24 count. It's to the 80s song, Wild Wild West. Living in the Wild Wild West, right?
Yeah,
it's
the
like
barn
a 24 contra.
Yep.
So I would teach them that.
Wild West, but
we call it Wild Wild.
We do that at the bar.
Yeah, so I really wanted to do something different. My kids were all leaving, and I literally Googled line dance competition, and the UCWDC popped up. And I looked at it, and they had videos, and they had rules, and I read them, and I looked at my husband and said, I think I'm going to start competing in line dance. And he said, that's a thing? And I went, yeah, and they even give you videos. And there was one in Portland, and I hopped into Portland, which is where I met my coach, Tim Perez. You guys saw him online, and I came up to ask how the judging worked, and he said, well, your coach will explain that to you. And I was like, oh, am I supposed to have a coach? And Tim said, how are you here? And then after that, I saw John Robinson do Shady, and I was explained social. Someone asked me to be on a team, and the next thing you know, I'm going to Portland, and Daniel Trepat is hugging me, and I'm thinking this guy has is mistaking me for someone else. And then he's like, you're new? And I was like, oh, so you know I don't belong here. Like, cool. And then I met Fred Whitehouse, and then someone was doing like a video, and I was like, oh, I think I learned that dance. And I'm looking online, and then I'm looking at the video, and I'm looking at the person. I was like, oh. Oh, okay. And then I roll into Windy City, and I meet Sam and Debbie, and they were phenomenal. And this guy named Simon. No clue who Simon was. Like, people had no clue. I just rolled in not knowing anybody.
Meeting Simon is always an experience for everybody. Don't. Oh yeah, that's
jumping on a pool toy when I rolled in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We pulled him off many of objects.
He was sweeping the floor at one point.
he did help me do floor at Classic this past year. He was there early. He came out and saw me when we unloaded the first one. The next morning he came down, did his workout. He goes, I have nothing to do. I don't want to sit in the hotel. You look like you're a little busy. Come on. And he helped me do the last floor. Yeah. So Carol just asked, how many events do we do a year? Carol, I think if my math was right last year, between dance floor jobs, line dance events, swing events, country, photo and video, I think I went to 42. Between one day, there were some weekends where I did multiple floor events in the same weekend. Yep. I think we did 42 dance events last year. And I haven't taken, besides the 2 days we went to Disney right after Fort Wayne, I'm with Sam. Me and Kelly have been together for 6 years. We have yet to take a non-dance related vacation. We've gone to England now twice, and then our first year we're together, after a year, we went to Mexico for a week with Scott Blevins for his 50th birthday party. So we've taken 3 major vacations. All 3 have been dance related. So I know your pain.
Yeah.
So
I was gonna say Sam travels far. Sam, is every event you do a vacation for? Like, do you add on a vacation? Like, you just don't fly for an event, right?
The first time I went to Windy City, which was 2 years ago, I added a couple of days either end.
Okay.
So I had some time to go and see the city and do that. Last year when I went, I flew in on the Wednesday and I flew home on the Sunday. So yeah, I literally flew in and home. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's pretty. It's tiring. It is tiring. But yeah, it's worth it though. I like, you know, even because I do take some time off before I go back to work. I don't go back to work straight away. I have a few days because otherwise. But yeah, it's worth it. It's worth it to come and see to see my friends and and spend time with people, and yeah, it's worth it.
We fly into LAX at like 11:30 at night because we gain time coming back, which is nice. And then I work at noon the next day, and I work in an ER, so 12-hour shift the next day. I'm a little crazy, but I have to make it work.
I couldn't do that because I obviously lose the time coming back this way. Right. So it messes with you. It messes with my head. It really does.
Big Jim just reminded me of something. What about your Christmas present, Kelly boy? And Kelly just goes, which present, Big Jim? I think it was she got it for me for my birthday, but it was given to me before Christmas because I had arranged time off. So I'm a big college wrestling fan. For a lot of people don't know, and Jim just said wrestling. I wrestled in high school. Iowa is like the mecca when it comes to college wrestling, the University of Iowa. And Kelly's cousin lives 2 minutes from the campus. And his next door neighbor is the athletic director and got me floor seats for the Iowa-Penn State dual meet, where Cale Sanderson, the Olympic champion, was the head coach for Penn State. The Brands brothers were the head coach of Iowa. There was 7 NCAA and Olympic champions on the wrestling. And then Dan Gable, who is an Olympic hero, the old coach of Iowa, he was kind of like the mecca. He was the first 4-time champion, was in attendance, and I actually got to meet him. I got to go down and meet Dan Gable and get his autograph and picture and stand on the mat. So being a college wrestling fan and a wrestler, that was like my mecca golden trip. I went to Iowa in the middle of January where there's nothing but cornfields and college bars. everyone's like, "You want to go to Iowa?" And I go, "Yes, I want to go to Iowa." I'm like, and Kelly goes, "I can't believe I'm taking him to the middle of Iowa in winter." We landed and it was like 32 degrees Fahrenheit, so it was cold. It was like freezing. So I was like, "Oh yeah, Iowa snow." January.
That's what people did
for a
when I said it
wrestling
was 32
match.
degrees here today. People were pulling faces in the chat because I said it was 32 Celsius, guys. It's been warm.
So Katie asked, to all the girls, what event would you recommend in the USA to visit? And then Sam, what event in the UK would you recommend?
Okay.
Who wants to go first?
Girls, you can go first. Go on,
Wait,
Rogers.
sorry, I missed that. Our dad walked in and tried to like mime to us. And
what was the question?
I'll go first because it's easy for me. I think a UK event that I would recommend to everybody would be World Dance Masters Worlds, 100% hands down. It's got something for everybody. You know, whether you want to do advanced and new lineup with Dave in the Spanish, or down with Michelle down in the arena, or like Maddie would do the competition and do a little bit of everything. It's got something for everybody. It's an all-round event. I really love it. It's really good.
All right, so since y'all missed it, the question was, what US event would you guys recommend?
Windy City and Marathon have definitely become staples. I don't plan on missing those if I can help it. Marathons is interesting because it starts at noon on Thursday, so you actually get a lot more workshops in and that extra night of social dancing. And then you also get to dance on Sunday night, which we turn that into like 2 a.m. Monday morning.
Yeah,
so for everyone that doesn't fly home, it's really fun.
Yeah, I remember coming to pick up the floor for Marathon at 5 o'clock, and y'all were still in the lobby. Yeah.
Marathon it kind of just sneaks up on you. Like literally flying home, my feet were like swollen. I couldn't even wear my Toms anymore because we had danced so much. And Windy City is just a really interesting mix of people. That's where we met like most of our UK friends for the first time, and you guys definitely bring like a whole new flavor to the ballroom at that event. So, and I really enjoy the
Sambuca. It's nobody else. It's just Julie with the Sambuca.
Julie, okay, it's Julie then. We love Julie. And I also like the pro choreography competition, the way that they show us every step from, music selection through to the finished product, and, doing their showcase at the end of Saturday. I really enjoy that. I like watching the choreography competitions in general. I think we helped demo for Jono, and we've helped Jason, at home with him tossing ideas at us. So it's interesting to watch those competitions. And I wish I could choreograph, but I really don't think I have it in me. I think Jen should try, but she's kind of shy to try.
I'm really shy when I'm not dancing, I promise. You wouldn't know it, but yes.
But those would be our like 2 big recommendations. I really want to go to MIT, but I don't know if I could survive eating over there because I'm like super picky.
Okay.
Which one would you recommend, Maddie?
Well, I've been to 3, so
Hey.
I would recommend, honestly, there are 2 that I would recommend, and it's because just before I say this as a caveat, because I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings as an event director.
Well,
I believe that people become better dancers when they learn technique. It becomes easier to follow, it becomes easier to flow, and things are not as confusing because you know what the steps should be like and where the weight changes should be. And while there are phenomenal instructors that instruct that, if you already know, you can pick it up fast. I would recommend an event that hasn't happened yet, but I'm hoping, which is World Dance Masters and the Florida Masters. And that is for the same reason that Sam said. There is competition as well as social. They do a really good job. So the fact that one's in Florida, I'm excited. So I would recommend that just because I'm an all-around person. I think you should always challenge yourself and have fun. And competing can really teach you so many good things, like standing up straight and feeling happy. Like John Robinson said, so many of us look like we're miserable on the floor. I mean, not me, I can say that, but so many people look like they're struggling because they're only focusing on the steps without remembering that the steps make the dance, and eventually you need to dance it. And then the other one would be South Bay. And the reason I say that, one, I'm kind of biased because it's my coach, Tim, but he is one of the, I know Melissa does it. He's one of the few that's bringing social line into the UC. Yes. He was going to have Guillaume this year. He was going to have John Robinson and Derek Steele and Amy Bailey. And I just think that should be promoted. I think, and it's on the West Coast, and we don't have a lot. Like, you guys are saturated in the East, and over here in the West, like, just because Vegas is here doesn't mean we're like, yay, we win. So,
no, I talk to Jen about that all the time. We are very privileged about. There are a lot more social dance event wise. The majority of them are pretty much Texas and East. There's a few in the Midwest, like Fort Wayne, Heart of Texas now, which is new because it used to have one in Texas, and like Michigan, but everything else is East Coast based. A lot of it is. You have no.
I think that's with people traveling from Europe as well. That you get the both then if you're on the East Coast,
Right, and I was curious. I was curious of that because even back in the day, if you look at the events that happened like 15, 16 years ago. Most of them were still East Coast based. Now, granted, today we have way more events than we did, and Sam, you can contest this back even 10 years ago.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So travel could have something to do with it, possibly, but I'm not sure. I don't know if it's prices because hotel. I know when you're trying to find an event, and I know from working for Jen. Getting a hotel contract is huge. Getting a good hotel contract that is good for the attendees is massive, and also good for the event with ballroom and not having to do a lot of food and stuff like that. So the cost always definitely comes into play. So I know being out besides Vegas, stuff on the West Coast tends to usually be a little bit more expensive. And then the girls are shaking their head. They're all three in unison like...
I can only imagine trying to find ballrooms near or anywhere in the vicinity of LAX. I could only imagine how expensive that could be.
I'm from LA, so I get it.
Yeah, or like maybe over by Universal Studios, but still, that'd be another 20-minute drive from the
only place I knew of that had decent space, like I know, because there's still, and this is funny because, and I know Maddie can contest this, if you look at the UCWDC, if you look at the areas that have the most events, California has what, 4? And Tim can chime in here because I know Tim and Steven are in here. Because I know we used to have
3. Fresno ended 2 years ago.
Oh, that's right. Because that's right. There was 4.
There was 4. Now we have San Diego, Paradise, and South Bay.
Right. And then
because we lost Portland too. Portland's no longer sanctioned.
Yes. And then Florida back in the day had 3. So in order to qualify for UCWDC Worlds, if you're a dancer in Florida, we never had to leave our state because we actually had once. What's the one on that's now in Off the Beach that's owned by Sue Boyd? Southern Nationals used to be in Mississippi, moved to Florida. We originally, when they first moved, we actually had 4 qualifiers. One in Orlando. One in Fort Lauderdale, which used to be Sunshine State, and the other one owned by Grand Austin. So one in Tampa. So we never had to leave the state, and if we did, there's one in Atlanta. So Peach State. We never had to go. For when I first started competing, I never had to go anywhere. The travel costs were super low for me.
You're so lucky. You're so lucky because I have to go where I can actually compete against people. Well, I'm like by myself.
And back in the day, I switched to competing in couples and pro-am. But back in the day, Maddie, you can ask Tim this, because I'm sure he has video still. The line dance competition was huge. There would be quarterfinals, semifinals, prelims. Yeah, it was massive in UCWDC.
And now we're hoping we get 10 in each division.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm just like, okay. But people I don't think some people, from what I've heard when they talk, and I go to social events and someone said, how do you know Roy and Fiona? And I don't look at them like Roy and Fiona. I look at them like, It's Roy and Fiona. They're at UC. She competes. Like I mean, the funny thing was I had no idea at the level of status. Like I guess people say they're a celebrity status.
Right. But
I just know them as friends because I was competing in street. I walked off the floor to Tim. Roy's like high-fiving me and Fiona's like, great job. I have no idea who they are. I go in the dressing room and I'm like, who are those awesome people like supporting us? Anyone know? Like I'm learning everyone. I have no idea. Well, then for my team, we were learning Make You Move. And I'm looking, I was like, oh, I know these people. Like they were super nice. Like they high-fived me. And so I know them so when someone says they're really good choreographers, I'm sitting here like, no, they're phenomenal superstars. Like that's how I know them. So it's funny that the world is so separated and yet they are merged. Like I don't think some people recognize that a lot of the choreographers were competitors at one time.
Right.
They just know them as choreographers.
Like I remember
some of the best choreographers came from the competition scene though, in my opinion.
Because they know Jen Stevenson, yes.
It's for me, like to learn a dance, I want to learn something that's going to push me. So it's got technique in it. I don't want to just learn something, I don't know, whatever it might be. I want to learn a waltz or a cha-cha or a nightclub or something that's got something I can sink my teeth into, you know?
Right. I remember when Roy won his first All-Star, I think it was 16 years ago. When he won All-Stars, it was either 2004 2005 when he won. Yeah. He won the top division in the UCWC Lions World 16 years ago. Crazy.
I don't think people know Fiona is the only, as far as I know, and if they're on, someone will have to correct me, but Fiona is the only one I know that's won the top competitor in the female division in every single circuit. In the WCDF, World Dance Masters, and UC. I think she is the only one that's the highest ranking.
Yeah, I believe that's correct.
Yeah,
I believe that is correct.
And you wouldn't know it, right? She's just super fun all the time. You just wouldn't think about it. People don't know it. Like when the T-Rex came out, she competed that at UC.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't wait. Like people were writing me, I've never even known. I heard you had the T-Rex video. Are you getting it up? And I was like, I'm waiting. I got to slice it. Like I promise I'll put it up.
So Tim Perez actually just asked a great question. Is there anything about an event that would make you not want to go back? That's a good one. What?
Is it? Yeah, there's something that happened at an event last year, and I won't name the event or the people, but there was a divide, let's say, put in between celebrities and non-celebrities. That event was something that was on my to-do list, and it's now been crossed off. So yeah,
I said the same one because I said the same thing.
Yeah,
I will respect someone that's at a higher level paid to be there, but when you have snobbery, I don't want to be anywhere near it. We are a line dance community, and you can't separate us and then use the terminology, we're all in this together. Please. We're literally all in this together, or we're not.
Good to know.
I haven't had any personal issues with any of the events I've attended. I would recommend them all. There's nothing that's happened to us personally that we wouldn't attend that event again. And we've done most of the ones in the U.S. There's a couple in between, like Fort Wayne. Timing isn't right for us. It's kind of far. I'd love to go to Nysol, but just the travel, that's going to be a trek for us.
Portland, we haven't been to yet.
And some of these
Fort Wayne
have some wait lists that I feel like we're not going to be able to attend some of these events for at least 10 years from now. We're just going to kind of bide our time and wait for our number to come up.
I think we'll get back. I think Chicago has a great chance of happening. It's
you guys maybe. I don't think I'm going to get there.
Well, no, because isn't y'all are starting to open up and allow travel across places over there right now, aren't you, Sam? Is it just about to open?
I don't really watch the news, to be honest, because it depresses me, and I'm kind of I avoid it. So
I find out from Daniel and Tim when I talk to them. That's all.
There's something happening with Spain, I believe. So if you fly from the UK to Spain, there's going to be some sort of way that you don't have to quarantine either end. But like I said, I don't watch the news, so I tend to, unless it pops up on social media that somebody's, making a politician of themselves about it, then right. I don't tend to read about it until it affects me, really, and then I'll look into it myself. But
I know
I'm not convinced I'm going to get over there unless I charter a yacht or something. I'm not sure that it's going to happen.
I know as of right now, the experience is still slated to go on. As far as I know, Nashville is open. So what happens with that was last Diane posted, it was still a go. I think October. I think we're going to be way safer. And I foresee, especially with it being right after the election, I don't see how Vegas won't happen. I know the hotel is open. I know Doug and Jackie posted that. I know the gambling has just started again. They're allowed at the poker tables and stuff like that. So they're allowed in casinos out there. So I'm pretty sure Vegas is, no matter, I think the safest, definitely first one that's going to be possibly full bore is Vegas, and then Florida Classic. I don't foresee the Florida Classic not being able to happen. I was very shocked when Jen called me up and said the Marriott canceled it on her, and they were like, "Yep, nope, we're not allowing it." I'm like, it's not till July though. What are they doing? I'm like, because Universal Studios is opened up. We went to Volcano Bay a couple weeks ago in the water park. Tim just said mandatory mandatory casinos right now in Vegas. Yeah, Darren, I know it's hard to predict what events would happen, but if they're going to allow theme parks to open, I highly doubt they're not going to allow 200 people in a hotel, because I can tell you right now, we had more than 200 people going through security at Universal Studios in one area. So I have a feeling.
I think the thing that you've got to look at as well, I think, because obviously gyms and classes over here have been told no, because obviously if you're there exercising, you're breathing really heavily, and if there's 200 people in a confined space breathing more heavily than they would do normally, if you're just stood in security, then you're not going to be exhausting yourself, are you? I think that's probably where the restrictions will lie as well.
And I know I said this on the show the other day. Someone asked about how do you do the social distancing at a dance event. It is physically impossible, guys. And I'll use the marathon floor as an example. I think we put 4,000 square feet for the one floor. Okay, so that's 80 feet wide by 50 feet long, 5-foot squares. If you social distance that, you're only allowing 120 people at the event.
Yeah.
There's no way. There's no way. There's no way you're going to be able to stay 6 feet apart dancing. And if you do, there's not going to be anybody at an event. So,
I mean, I think line dancing will open before any couples dancing will.
Absolutely.
I mean, we got lucky with that. Couples will be anything that has couples will be more delayed than line. Yay! Everyone line dances. See, my dream has come true.
I'm not sure whether you guys are the same over there, but I think they're looking at relaxing ours to 1 meter as well over the next couple of weeks.
What's that equivalent? 3 feet?
Our social distancing.
Yeah.
So what's that? 1 meter is what, about 3 feet?
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah.
Okay.
Something like that. We're reducing it from 2 meters to 1. But that's again, that's relying on Boris's figures, isn't it? I think so. We'll.
Yep, Jim just said 3 feet, and Darren said, yeah, some states are still requiring quarantine. Yeah, I know, like Florida, you have to quarantine for 2 weeks if you come into Florida, and if you're coming from New York, Connecticut, New Jersey, and I think Louisiana right now. If you come from any of those states, you're supposed to quarantine for 2 weeks. And like he says, don't get me wrong, I want events to go ahead, but still need to be safe. Oh, I 100% agree. Let's be safe about it. I'm just very hopeful. Vegas is really big too. Vegas has a lot of space, way more space than Windy City in Chicago. Chicago is very, very, very tight. But I do appreciate all you guys coming on and talking about all these things event related. I will do one thing. So as y'all told you, I'm taking all of next week off. But you girls in the bottom did say the one thing you did like is the professional choreography competition, how you get to watch the breakdown. Well, one of the first episodes back, I'm not sure what day it will be, but one episode, because we're approaching 50 episodes. I will tell you this, the 50th episode on Wednesday, will be dedicated to the CBAs. I will have Betty Drummond and Steve Healy on, guys, talking about the history of the Crystal Boot Awards and all things CBA related. But I had an idea, and I called up my buddies Daniel, Jose, and JP. And, yeah, I love that. Oh Lord.
Oh man.
So I threw down a challenge to them, and they all agreed and loved the idea. So, live on the air, I will be sending them a song as the show starts, and we will get to watch them choreograph live to a song of my choice, the three of them, for 1 hour. They have 1 hour to do it. I'm giving them the song. We're going to mute them. That way they can talk amongst each other through another phone, but you get to see the process. We'll chime in every now and again. And then the very next day, one of them will teach it live on Streamline for everybody. So,
awesome.
Good idea.
That's cool.
So we are definitely going to throw down a little challenge to them. And yes, Amy, still no dates for Big Bang. I talked to... try to get answers, and as of right now, I know Will is dealing with the cruise being canceled, so I wish we could still have some dates for Big Bang. But so yeah, that will be awesome. That will be one of the two shows, and then the third show that I've already confirmed, I'm going to have Mr. Johnny Two Step on as one of my guests. Guy who's been around for a while. Some of you might know him, some of you might not, but he is going to be one. JP Maj. Hello, lovely people. Yeah, JP, you just missed it. I just told everybody. In 2 weeks' time, we are going to be doing the challenge. Jesse asked history of the Masters in Line. Jesse, I would love, that would have been a dream show. I know Paul has kind of been out of place. Pedro, I have not asked, but I have still not been able to get Rachel to come on. I know she's busy, and that's what she said. So if I could ever confirm to get Rachel on, I would love to. So I know she's busy. So
I don't think Paul will ever come back.
And then Paul and thing, but Fowler is on. So we would eventually love to get Rachel on, and that would be awesome if I could get the whole history of the Masters in line with all of them. That would be awesome. But thank you all for joining me today. I hope everyone had a blast and getting to learn a little bit of what attendees want to pick out event. And hope everyone enjoyed it out there, guys. Again, 47 episodes in. Thank you all for joining me for the last show inside this location. A little weird.
Thank you, Kelly. It was fun.
Thank you guys for joining me. It was great. So hope everyone had fun.
I enjoyed all these interviews with you.
Awesome. I'm glad. I'm glad y'all have enjoyed them. I never thought that I would make it to 40 plus. When I came up with this random little idea to do a talk show, I never thought I would get to 40 plus. Never. So
someone like me, I've wanted to write a history book. Like you were like, for those of you that don't know Rob Fowler, and I'm over here by myself, like I have no idea who this guy is.
Well, I've had two shows with him.
Guy Bundy came on, and I was like, "Who is this dude?" Like, I learn so much. You can tell how a newbie I am. I was like, "I don't know." And every time you're like, "For those that don't know," I was like, "Me, Kelly, me."
For Maddie, just for Maddie who doesn't know.
For Maddie who doesn't know.
I've gone through 2 episodes so far with Rob Fowler. I've gotten through 7 questions in just under 3 hours.
Oh my gosh!
Each interview is
I liked his though because he discusses the history, and you know I'm all about learning. Like
Yes.
I just want to understand everything.
Yes. Now that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to do something different. I wanted to do something a little bit different, and I had the idea. And eventually, like I've told people, the idea is to go to some of these places locally to show the history and what line dance could be. Like Brandon Zahorsky gets 150, 200 people at his local class. Head out to Cali and spend a week doing a different show from every class, every bar in Cali. Do some from the barn or the roundup. Go to different places that do shows when I come over to England. That was where the show idea came from, actually. And I kind of really had a little free time on my hands with this whole quarantine thing. So trust me, I'm driving Kelly crazy with it, but I'm loving every bit of it. I'm loving every bit of it. I'm just glad that everybody has gotten and enjoyed what I've done so far. So I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. I just plan on doing more. So it's going to get I got some things in the works and some things planned, so definitely tune in for the rest because we're about to do some crazy stuff here on the Honky Tonk Highway. So thank you guys for joining me, and for the last time, see y'all in 2 weeks or a week and a half.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Bye.